Welcome to today's CoreX Performance video. Today's video focuses on shoulder mobility. We have our demo Ben with us here today, and what we're going to start with are our neutral shoulder blade rotations. So for this, you're going to start with your right arm, hand is going to be at your side. You are going to keep your hand at the side of your leg. You're not going to allow your hand to go to the front or the back of your thigh. Keeping your wrist and elbow locked, you're going to lift your shoulder blade, elevate your shoulder blade. You're going to keep that shoulder blade up as you bring it straight back. You're going to keep that shoulder blade back as you bring it down, tucking it into your back pocket. And then you're going to slowly roll that shoulder blade forward. You're going to continue through this here. If you're familiar with this, feel free to not do 4 distinct motions, but try and do one smooth continuous circle. And if you're not familiar with it, go at your own pace. Ensure that the range is good before you start altering things. Really keep that wrist and elbow straight. Wherever you are on this side, I want you to pause, and you're going to switch directions. Now Ben has his hand across his chest, which is a great way to give yourself feedback to see if you're leaning, rotating one way or the other while you're doing this activity. We'll finish our last rotation here. We'll repeat that same sequence on the other side. Getting set up with your hand along the side of your thigh. If you have a seam on your pant or your short, you can keep your finger there, making sure that the hand does not go in front or behind your thigh. We're going to do that same motion, bringing that shoulder blade up, keeping that shoulder blade up and bring it straight back. Bringing it back and tucking it down into our pocket and rolling that shoulder blade forward. Continue through this here. Once again, just like we did on the other side, wherever you are, I want you to pause, and you're going to switch directions. Making sure to keep that elbow and wrist straight here. We'll finish our last rotation on this side. We're now going to move into our shoulder rotations. So for this, go back to that right side to start. Thumb is going to be facing forward. We're going to keep our arm straight as we straighten it up overhead as far as we can go. Once we get to the top, we're going to take a small pause. We're going to turn our whole arm, not just our hand, but our whole arm away from us or inwards. We're going to continue to rotate as we bring our arm back and around until we find the back of our hand at the side of our leg. We'll reset here and we'll continue. Really try and expand that range, get as big of a circle or rotation as you can. Making sure that we are not leaning or rotating as we bring our arm back and around. Wherever you are, we're going to pause, and you're going to stay on the same side, but now you're going to go in the opposite direction. So you're going to start by bringing that arm straight back, and then you're going to rotate until your arm is straight overhead and slowly bring it down. Nice, smooth control. Go at your own pace, there's no rush. We'll slowly finish our last rotation here and relax. We're going to repeat that on the other side, just like we did with the shoulder blade. So we're going to start in that forward direction on our left side now. Bringing that arm straight up, keeping that elbow straight. When you get to the top, we're going to turn our hand away from us. And we're going to continue to rotate that hand and bring that arm back until we find ourselves in the starting position again. Wherever you are, I want you to pause, and you're going to switch directions on this left side here. Finish your last rotation on this side. Now that we've evened things out, we're going to move on to our shoulder axial rotations. So there's a few ways that we can do this, but for today's mobility video, what we're going to do is we're going to focus with our arm straight out at our side. We're going to have our thumb, you can actually start whichever way you want, but you're going to go and rotate your thumb as far in one direction, and you're going to rotate and bring it down as far as you can in the other direction. You're going to do 10 of these per side. Each direction counts towards one repetition. See if you can make a full circle with your thumb when you combine both directions. Now this is not Ben's first time doing this, so he's pretty efficient. If you're still going at your own pace, not a problem, take your time. We're gonna move on to our next exercise, which is our prone shoulder flexion hovers. So for this, Ben has a few kettlebells of different heights set up. What you can do at home is you don't necessarily need to have an object. Definitely doesn't have to be a kettlebell, but if you wanted to put a TV remote, can of soup, something with different heights along the pathway here, we'll see how this is going to challenge our arms. So Ben is going to start with his arms straight out. He is going to lift. He's going to hover over that first object. He's going to slowly drop down, touch the ground, come back up, go over that second object, same thing, come back up, and go over that third object. He's not going to just bring his arm back, but he's going to go over that same path again until he finds himself at the starting position. We're going to do 5 of these per side. Go at your own pace. This builds off of a lot of the shoulder flexion lift-off work that we've done in the past weeks. No rush. I'd rather you go slow than go too quick. Just like you see Ben doing here, once you're done, you're 5 on one side, we'll do 5 on the other side. Rearrange the objects if you're using a couple. If it was too hard for you, the first arm, you can change it up, use some different objects on the second arm. If it was too easy, by all means, you can challenge yourself a little bit more. Remembering to breathe, making sure that we're trying to move that shoulder, making sure that a lot of the other joints aren't moving here. We're not extending in through our low back at all. And our last exercise for today's video is our prone extension lift-offs. So for this, you're going to be lying face down just like you were before, but instead of your arm overhead, your arm is at your side. And you're going to lift off as high as you can, hold for a second or two, and drop back down. We're going to do 7 of these here per side. So if you're still going at your own pace, not a problem, take your time. That does conclude our mobility portion for today's Core-X programming. I encourage you to continue along with the strength component. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.